Level 1. Halcón. You're 14 years old. You stand on a street corner in Culiacan. The sun burns your neck. Your phone buzzes every few minutes. You watch. That's all you do. You watch for cops. You watch for military convoys. You watch for rivals. Your family has nothing. Your father left when you were 6. Your mother cleans houses for 200 pesos a day. Your little sister needs shoes. The cartel pays you 1,500 pesos a week just to stand here and text when you see something wrong. It feels like winning the lottery. You don't ask questions. A man with a gold chain and a Rolex gave you the phone. He said if you're smart, if you keep your mouth shut, there's more, much more. You've seen the trucks, the guns, the respect people show when sicarios walk into restaurants. One night, you see a police truck. You text the number. 3 minutes later, the street is empty. The dealers vanish. The truck passes. Nothing happens. The man with the gold chain hands you an extra 1,000 pesos. He touches your shoulder. You're smart, mijo. You have a future here. Your mother cries when you bring home groceries. She doesn't ask where the money came from. She knows. Everyone knows. But hunger has a way of making people forget their questions. You tell yourself this is temporary. Just until things get better. This is who you are now. Level 2, Mula. You're 16 years old. You cross the border for the first time with 30 kilos of cocaine strapped to your body. The weight cuts into your ribs. Your heart hammers so hard you think the border agents will hear it. You're not a lookout anymore. You're a mule. They chose you because you look innocent. Baby face, nervous smile. You have a fake student visa, a story about visiting your cousin in San Diego. The line moves slowly. Each step feels like walking toward your execution. If you get caught, it's 10 years minimum in an American prison. If you run, the cartel finds your mother, your sister. The agent looks at your passport. Looks at you. Purpose of visit? Visiting family, sir. He waves you through. You nearly collapse on the other side. In a gas station bathroom, you strip off the packages. Your skin is raw and bleeding where the tape pulled. You stuff everything into a backpack. A man in a white pickup truck is waiting in the parking lot. He doesn't speak, just takes the bag, hands you $2,000 in cash. $2,000 for 6 hours of terror. You've never held this much money. You think about your mother's face, about your sister's new shoes, about the respect you'll get when you come home. You make the run 4 more times that month. Each time, the fear shrinks a little. Each time, the money gets easier to spend. You're desensitized now. The border is just another Tuesday. Being good means you're alive. Level 3. Vendedor. You're 18 years old. You run a corner in Tijuana now. 3 blocks are yours. You sell cocaine, crystal meth, heroin. You have 6 kids working under you, halcones and runners. You pay them. You teach them. You're becoming what the man with the gold chain was to you. You make $4,000 a week. You bought your mother a house. You drive a used Escalade. Girls look at you differently now. You wear a gold chain of your own. But the work is harder than you expected. The police shake you down every week. You pay 20% to the local comandante just to operate. Rivals from another cartel try to push into your blocks. You have to stand your ground. One night, a Jalisco New Generation gunman walks onto your corner. He's testing you, seeing if you'll run. You don't. You pull your pistol first. Your hand shakes, but you don't lower it. Your crew circles behind him. He smiles, spits on the ground, walks away. Your boss calls you an hour later. You did good. But next time, you shoot first. Hesitation gets you killed. You can't sleep that night. You keep seeing that moment. Keep feeling how close you came to dying. Or killing. You take a Xanax. Then another. The pills help you forget. A 19-year-old dealer from a rival crew gets executed 2 blocks away. They leave his body in the street with a narcomanta, a banner warning others. You walk past it on your way to work. You don't feel anything anymore. The debt you can never repay. Level 4. Sicario. You're 21 years old. You kill your first man on a Tuesday afternoon. He's a snitch. The cartel knows because a cop on the payroll told them. Your orders are simple. Make it public. You and 2 others drag him out of his apartment. He begs. He cries. He says he has children. You put 2 bullets in his head in the middle of the street. You leave the body there. You vomit in an alley 20 minutes later. Your hands won't stop shaking. You drink a bottle of tequila that night and pass out on your bathroom floor. By the 3rd killing, you don't vomit anymore. You're a sicario now, a hitman. You make $1,000 per job, plus a $3,000 monthly salary. You have an AR-15, body armor, and a reputation. People cross the street when they see you. You've killed 11 people in 8 months. Snitches, rivals, a journalist who wrote the wrong story, a politician who wouldn't take bribes. You don't think about their faces anymore. You can't. If you do, you'll eat your own gun. Your crew worships Santa Muerte now, the saint of death. You have a shrine in your apartment. You pray before every job. You ask her to protect you, to forgive you. You're 21 years old and you've lost count of the bodies. Your mother hasn't spoken to you in 6 months. She knows what you are. She sees it in your eyes. Your sister won't let you near her kids. You buy a bigger house, faster cars. You date a beauty queen from Sinaloa. You post photos on Instagram with stacks of cash and bottles of expensive whiskey. The emptiness follows you everywhere. You taste blood in your sleep. Level 5. Comandante. You're 25 years old. You run a cell of 40 men now. Sicarios, dealers, lookouts, transporters. They answer to you. You answer to the Plaza boss. Your territory produces $2 million a month. You take home $20,000. You live in a gated compound with armed guards. You have 3 cars, all bulletproof. You travel with 6 bodyguards. You haven't walked alone in 2 years. Your job is balance. You enforce discipline. A sicario steals from a shipment, you have him beaten in front of the others. A dealer talks to the police, you order his execution. Mercy makes you weak. Fear keeps you alive, but you also protect your men. You pay their families when they're arrested. You bail them out. You throw parties with narco-corrido bands that sing songs about your crew. You're building loyalty. Building an army. The violence is constant now. Jalisco New Generation is pushing into your territory. Firefights erupt in broad daylight. Civilians die in the crossfire. The government sends the Marines. Your men fight them with 50 caliber machine guns, mounted on trucks. You lose 12 men in 1 month. You attend their funerals. You hand their mothers envelopes of cash. You promise revenge. You deliver. But every funeral looks the same now. Young men in coffins. Mothers screaming. Fathers silent. You're 25 years old and you've been to 40 funerals. You don't sleep without pills anymore. You have a doctor on payroll who gives you whatever you need. Xanax, Ambien, cocaine to stay sharp during the day, heroin to come down at night. You're trapped in a cycle you can't escape. Your girlfriend is pregnant. You want to be happy, but all you feel is dread. You know what kind of world you're bringing this child into. This is power. This is prison. Level 6. Jefe de Plaza. You're 29 years old. You control an entire city now. Reynosa. The Plaza. Every gram of cocaine, every kilo of fentanyl, every kidnapping, every extortion, it flows through you. You make $200,000 a month. You own businesses. Car dealerships, nightclubs, construction companies. They're fronts for laundering money, but they're real enough to make you legitimate on paper. You have 200 men under your command. You meet with politicians, police chiefs, military commanders. You pay them all. The Plaza costs $5 million a year just in bribes, but it's worth it. You're untouchable until you're not. A rival cartel kidnaps your cousin. They send you a video of his execution. Chainsaw. They mail pieces of him to your mother's house. You respond with a massacre. 15 rival sicarios dead in 1 night. You hang their bodies from a bridge with a message. This plaza belongs to Sinaloa. The violence escalates. Car bombs. Grenade attacks. Mass graves discovered outside the city. The federal government threatens intervention. The Americans put a $5 million bounty on your head. You move to a ranch outside the city. 30 armed guards. Dogs. Cameras everywhere. You don't leave the property. Ever. You haven't seen your daughter in 4 months. She's 3 years old and she's forgotten your face. Your mother begs you to stop, to run, to disappear. You tell her you can't. The cartel doesn't let people retire. There are only 2 exits, prison or death. You wake up every morning expecting to be the day. Paranoia is your only companion. Level 7, Lugarteniente. You're 33 years old. You're the right hand to El Chapo's successor. You coordinate shipments across 6 states. You negotiate with Colombian suppliers. You manage a distribution network that stretches from Tijuana to New York. You're moving 10 tons of cocaine a month. Half a ton of fentanyl. The money is incomprehensible. $50 million a month. You take home $500,000. You own ranches, hotels, shipping companies. You have accounts in the Cayman Islands, Switzerland, Dubai. You'll never spend all this money. Neither will your children. Or their children. But you live like a ghost. You change locations every 3 days. You use encrypted phones that you destroy after every call. You trust no one. Your security chief was your childhood friend until you discovered he was talking to the DEA. You had him killed. Your wife left you. She took your kids to Europe. She said she didn't want them to watch you die. You have everything and nothing. The Americans are hunting you. The DEA has tapped half your phones. Informants are everywhere. Your own cartel is fracturing. Younger sicarios think you're weak. They want your position. You've ordered 30 executions this year just to maintain control. One of them was your nephew. He was stealing. He gave you no choice. You haven't looked in a mirror in weeks. You're afraid of what you'll see. You've become the monster you once feared. Level 8, Cartel Leader. You're 38 years old. You lead the Sinaloa cartel now. 100,000 people work for you across Mexico. The U.S., Europe, Asia. You're a billionaire. Forbes won't publish the list, but you know the truth. You coordinate with generals, governors, judges. You finance political campaigns. You're more powerful than most governments. You live in a fortress in the mountains, 200 armed guards, anti-aircraft weapons, escape tunnels, satellite phones. You haven't been photographed in 5 years, but you're not free. You're the most wanted man in the Western Hemisphere. The U.S. government has offered $20 million for information leading to your capture. Every alphabet agency, DEA, FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, has teams dedicated to finding you. Rival cartels have tried to kill you 18 times. Your own people have betrayed you 7 times. You've executed 40 men for disloyalty. You don't sleep in the same bed twice. You don't eat food you haven't watched being prepared. You don't trust anyone, not your bodyguards, not your advisors, not your family. Your daughter wrote you a letter. She's 16 now. She lives in Canada under a fake name. She said she hates you. She said you destroyed the family. She said she hopes you rot in prison. You burned the letter, but you remember every word. The Mexican Marines raid your compound at dawn. Helicopters. Hundreds of soldiers. You escape through a tunnel, but they're waiting. They catch you in your underwear in a drainage ditch. The photo goes viral. The mighty cartel leader. Humiliated. You're extradited to the United States. Supermax prison in Colorado. 23 hours a day in a concrete box. No sunlight. No human contact. Forever. You'll die here. Alone. This is the throne. This is the cage. Level 9. El Patron. Because El Patron is a myth. A ghost. The man above the man above the man. Some say he lives in Guatemala. Others say Dubai. Some say he's a collective, a board of old narcos who retired before the violence consumed them. But you'll never know. Because you died in that Supermax cell. Or you were poisoned by a rival. Or betrayed by your most trusted lieutenant. El Patron is the finish line no one crosses. Epilogue. In Culiacan, A 4-year-old boy stands on a street corner. The sun burns his neck. His phone buzzes. A man with a gold chain approaches. "You're smart, mijo. You have a future here." The boy smiles. He thinks about his mother, his sister. He doesn't know he's already dead. This is the Mexican cartel. The machine never stops.